Hey guys, how's it going? I hope you're all doing really well as always, and welcome to the channel and welcome to this 2,000 subscriber Q&A video. So yeah, I just want to extend a big thank you to you all for your support, and this really couldn't happen without you guys, purely based on like motivation and stuff like that. The fact that you guys keep coming back for more really motivates me to keep this thing going. So that said, for kind of like a 2,000 subscriber special, if you like, I've decided to do like a Q&A, which I've never done before, but it's been a shed ton of fun seeing you guys submit your questions over the last few days. So yeah, let's get into it. So a lot of these actually came from Instagram, which is the best place to sort of follow me and keep up to date with where I'm at and what I'm doing and video updates and stuff like that. But I got some off of YouTube as well. I posted a little video, so thank you to everybody who submitted questions, and thanks to everybody for getting back to me and participating in this. Okay, so here we go. Question number 1. Does it actually affect the tone of your guitar with an active pickup if the battery slightly dies? How often do I change it? So my answer to that question would be yes. The more your battery dies with active pickups, the more the sound's just going to start to thin out a little bit. So I like to kind of keep on top of changing the battery on my guitars because it's got active pickups, EMGs in majority of my guitars actually. I change it quite a bit because I'm a little bit paranoid, for instance, with shows and stuff like that. I will always change the battery before a live show, or, you know, if I'm doing recording and stuff like that for songs, like going into the studio with my band, I'll always change it beforehand because I just want like the maximum output going out of my guitar. So I change them quite regularly. Apparently, some people say like every 6 months or something like that will suit you, but if I'm going to be honest with you, there's no set answer to that because it all depends on how much you play, right? And how often your guitar is plugged in. So if you're a heavy player, and you play a heck of a lot, expect the battery to die a lot quicker than if you don't play as much. So yeah, it's just one thing to watch out for. And sometimes when you're recording, sometimes you'll think to yourself, oh man, my sound's really thin. And you'll be playing with like the amp settings and the gain on your amp or your digital profiler or whatever it is that you use. And sometimes it's just something as simple as battery needs changing. So yeah, always keeping an ear out for that because it is something that does affect your tone and yeah, your sound. Okay, next question. Can you do a lesson on Room 409 or Begging for Mercy? Love the vids, by the way. Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, I guess I can. The majority of the Bullet songs that I cover, I do generally do a lesson for. Things with those lesson videos is I really have to be in the mood to do them, or I need to feel like that there's something in the song that I really want to show and demonstrate, whether it's because I haven't seen it played what I believe to be correct before. But yeah, I kind of have to be like really fired up about the song at the time. There was a time where I was just knocking those lesson videos out, and those lesson videos can take up to about like 3 days, and that's literally the filming and the editing. So they can take up to about 3 days to make, depending on my schedule, how busy I am. But then you've got all the stuff before that, which is like learning the song, sitting down, isolating the parts, listening to everything, seeing if I can get it correct. And then I got to learn the thing properly and see if I can play it right the way through, So it's a very involved process. But those lesson videos, they're part of what I do on this channel. I would like for them to stick around. They just take a heck of a lot of time to make. So if it comes to it and I'm really into those two songs, I'll absolutely do a lesson video on them at some point. What's your favorite video that you've done so far? I had to think about this one because I've got a couple. I kind of like them all. I mean, there are some that I really don't like, actually, where I kind of look back and I go, oh man, I wish I'd have done that differently, or just didn't do it full stop. Sometimes I'll have an idea for a video and it seems like a great idea, and then it'll just be an absolute flop after I put it out. But in terms of my favorite videos, I would say my Machine Head cover, Become the Firestorm, because that's one of my favorite songs ever. That album was pretty much my favorite album of the year when that came out, my favorite heavy metal record of the year. And that song, every time I put that on, I'm never not in the mood to hear it, if that makes sense. So to be able to play it was quite a big thing for me, especially with the solos and stuff, because it was kind of a step up for me in ability. And I think I just about got by on it. There was some stuff, maybe I could have invested a bit more time into it, but I really wanted to get it out for Christmas, just gone. But that's probably one of my favorites. Another one that I've got listed here is my Wage War Gravity cover. I really enjoyed doing that one because I love Wage War. They've got a very special place in my heart. So I really enjoyed doing that one just because of the lead line that comes in after the first chorus with the delay on. Absolutely love that. I also really like my How to Play Gravedigger by Architects video, because, you know, again, that's one of those ones where I really wanted to do it because I felt like I had like a point to prove, if that makes sense. I'd seen that song played so many different ways. And I really wanted to just kind of show you guys how I believe Tom Sell was actually playing it. And I had a lot of frustration over the years with that song because there's certain things with the chords that you think are being played that just don't quite sound right when you're playing them along with the record. So I really did a deep dive into that song, and lots of people seem to like it. And yeah, I think I got pretty close, if I may say so myself, to what's actually going on. So I really enjoyed sharing the knowledge on that one. And then another one that I really enjoyed doing was Lords of Summer, Metallica. Again, that riff is really, really hard. It was just really rewarding to sit down and practice that song, work out all the harmony parts, try and get the riff super tight and stuff, because it's quite a long song as well. So that's probably a favorite of mine as well, because I absolutely love that Metallica song, and I wish they would keep playing it live, but seems to have been put to bed, that one. Okay, next one. Tell us about your tattoos. Any funny stories behind any of them, and any plans on getting any new ones? I definitely need to balance this arm out because I'm looking pretty uneven. I'm not super OCD about it. Tattoos are expensive and they're a big commitment, so I haven't quite got any ideas yet for this one. I've got a couple floating around, but I want it to be right. And I think the thing with tattoos is just never force the idea. Don't go like, oh, I want to get a tattoo just to get a tattoo. It's got to be meaningful, I guess you could say, for me at least anyway, because once that thing's on you, it's on you for life. I guess I could talk about this one a little bit. So obviously the inverted cross right there, that's, you guys can see, that's Behemoth right there. I'm a huge Behemoth fan, which a lot of you guys probably didn't know. The armor around it is like Daedric armor from Elder Scrolls, if you guys have played Elder Scrolls games. So like Oblivion, Skyrim, big parts of my childhood, big parts of my sort of growing up. So I always thought the Daedric armor looked pretty cool. And then the desire thing was just a word that, you know, I really liked. I think it can lead to a lot of bad, but a lot of good in your life as well. If you've got desire, it's a very strong emotion, I guess. And I guess if you kind of put the desire into all the positive things in your life, I guess a lot of good will come with that. It's the desire to be better. It's the desire to be good, to be the best guitar player that you want to be, the best musician you want to be, or sort of like the best person that you want to be, I guess you could say. So yeah, quite a poignant word for me, I guess, and it's just a good reminder to just try and be better, I guess. Next one, favorite place you ever visited? Barbados. That was pretty much the holiday of a lifetime. Sun, beach. It's just, yeah, it's the ideal sort of hot country location if you're looking for like a relaxation holiday. I also love Italy quite a bit. I've been to Italy twice. Where else have I been? I've done Florida twice. That was really fun, doing Disneyland and stuff like that, and Universal Studios, that whole thing. So that was good fun years and years back. For someone wanting to learn lead guitar, what are some of the fundamentals one should learn? I know it's typical to say, but it 100% is your scale patterns. Okay, so you need to learn your major pentatonic, your minor pentatonic, both your major and minor scale and your blues scale. You need to understand the intervals that dwell within, okay? The relationship on the rest of the notes in the scale from the root note and how they sort of sound against each other. Because at the end of the day, it's the sound of those notes or specific notes within the scale that are going to gear you toward making those melodic choices when you're playing lead guitar. So you need to understand the role of each note within each scale and how they interact with your root note. When you're playing your scales as well, you'll always want to use a drone note as well. It's no good just running the scales up and down the neck with no context. I've said this in videos before. Playing scales and trying to improvise with them without any context, in this case, a drone note or even a chord progression, is kind of like trying to paint without a canvas. You've got all these wonderful colors and stuff like that. But without a canvas to paint on, it's absolutely meaningless, right? So when you're practicing your scales and you're learning about how the intervals sort of react to one another and react with the root note or the key that you're in, you know, use the drone note. So there's loads on YouTube. If you're doing your scales in like A, for instance, just type in A drone note, and there's loads on there where it's just like a sustained A note, and then you'll really start to hear the scale pop. Once you've done that, you're probably going to work on your alternate picking, of course, that's a given, and your legato techniques as well. So hammer-ons, pull-offs, slides. Make sure you incorporate all them into your practice. So when you run the scale, run it once with alternate picking, up and down, and then run it again with like hammer-ons and pull-offs and stuff like that, okay? So it's always good to be able to do both. And then make a decision based on what you prefer the sound of. So for me, I love the sound of legato, right? All those sort of like noodly Jim Root kind of runs, right? So if legato is like your thing, then, you know, go all out on that. I'm not saying like disregard alternate picking, because you need that as well, especially for rhythm playing. Choose what you like the sound of most, and then apply it to those scales, and then start moving them around. See if you can start to improvise with them. See if you can start to play over a simple chord progression. And above all, keep it slow, okay? Always keep it slow. You can always, you know, slow things down if you feel like you're trying to play too fast. Just make it easy for yourself and make it enjoyable for yourself. But yeah, sitting in your bedroom, just running a scale up and down the neck and not knowing what it is or why it is, but so everybody's told you that, oh, that will make for good lead guitar playing, we'll get nothing done, because it will just sound like you're doing your musical ABCs, right? You need to make it musical, and you need to find some musical application for said scale. So what you'll want to do as well is just start learning some guitar solos, some simple guitar solos that you think sound doable for you. Stick with them, slow them down, and hopefully with the basic scale patterns that you'll learn, you'll start to see how those guitar solos are based on the scales. I remember that my guitar teacher was trying to ram modes down my neck, and I really didn't want to do them, right? Because they just seemed really complicated. And when I finally started knuckling down and doing them and how they sort of like lead into one another, I started learning Her Voice Resides by For My Valentine. And that first sort of scale run that Padge does in his guitar solo, the 3-note per string run, I was like, oh, that's those scale patterns that I've been learning. So therefore I was able to apply what I've been learning to the music that I loved. So you need to bridge the gap between theory and musical application and bring it together, otherwise you're just not going to stick with it. So that would be my advice there. Next question, what's your favorite guitar out of your collection? Does it make you feel more comfortable or inspired? Favorite guitar in my collection? I don't know, that's a little bit hard. That I like them all. Obviously I love my BC Riches. They're very special. They're kind of like my comfort zone. When I sit down with them and play them, they 100% inspire me. They make me feel comfortable, I guess. They're kind of a bit of a comfort blanket for me, actually. So yeah, when I put those things on, they just make me feel good. And that's what it's all about. You should play instruments that kind of empower you, and kind of like feel part of you in a way. So it would probably be my BC Riches. But that's not to say, like, for instance, this thing, you know, this has been my go-to teaching guitar, and I seriously can't put this guitar down. And it's the antithesis of what I would usually go for. But there's just something about this guitar. This is Jim Root San Dimas, by the way, in case you don't know. There's just something about this guitar that when I pick it up, I just want to play it and I can't stop playing it. And I think that's what a guitar should be, really. You should be able to pick it up and not want to put it down, you know? So I really do love this one as well. And then in terms of like getting inspired, my Lee Mallier Explorer, which is kind of floating around behind, I don't know if you guys can see, that one, you know, because it's so different to all my other ones, which are like EMG loaded, you know, they've all got a similar sort of thing going on with them sound-wise. That thing is just like raw power when I pick that up. Just the pickups and just the sound of the guitar, it's just super tight and aggressive. So yeah, I love them all. It's really hard to pick, but Desert Island Guitar would probably be one of my BC Riches. Next question, do you like the bands Children of Bodom, Arch Enemy, or Amon Amarth? I love Children of Bodom. Alexi Laiho was a massive influence on me when I was growing up. I used to listen to like Are You Dead Yet, or that album like on repeat, like when I was going to college and stuff like that back in the day. I remember hearing the solo in Punch Me I Bleed and thinking that was just like one of the best things I'd ever heard. And I just loved how big the band sounded with the instrumentation, how thrashy it was, but how sort of like cool and flashy the guitar solos were. And it might not really be apparent now in my playing and stuff like that, but back in the day, Alex was like a huge influence in my playing. I used to you know, it was his lesson videos that encouraged me to sit down with a metronome and work on running through 3-note per string patterns and stuff like that, with the metronome, and try and get it as tight as possible. So Children of Bodom, they are absolutely up there for me. Next question: would you cover Jamie's old band Revoker and do lessons, as there's not many on YouTube? Probably not enough to do lessons anyway, because for lessons I've got to be really into the band, because like I said, those lesson videos take forever to make. I guess Revoker were okay, but yeah, probably not, if I'm honest. For those of you who don't know, Jamie is For My Valentine's current bassist and backup singer. He used to have a band called Revoker just before this one, so that's who those guys are. But yeah, I don't think any of that stuff has a place on my channel just yet. Okay, quickfire: PV6505 or PV5150? I've been using the 6505 profile for ages now. A lot of the covers that you've heard me do have been using that amp's profile, so I'm going to roll with that one, purely based on the fact that I haven't really used any 5150 profiles. But if I'm going to be brutally honest with you guys, I don't think I'm in a place to make that decision, because I've never actually plugged into any of those real amps. You know, I'm just using profiles, good profiles, Colin Richardson stuff. But yeah, but out of the two, from what I've used with the profiles, I'll go with the 65. And then V or Explorer on stage? That is not a fair question, because I love both so much. Explorer is probably my favorite guitar shape, but the Flying V is my favorite to play. So do with that what you will. I guess for stage, I'm going to go with the Flying V, because it is a lot more comfortable on me. I have to fight to play my Explorers. I find that like I have to... They don't quite sit on me as well as a Flying V. You know, people like James Hetfield make an Explorer look like it's just like literally part of them. But when I kind of play mine, I have to sort of like move around quite a little bit. I have to fight them a bit. So yeah, I'm going to go with the Flying V on that one. Okay, next question. Are you planning on doing any more reaction videos anytime soon? Absolutely not. I started doing some Gojira reactions a little while ago. I think maybe even a couple of years ago now, and they got me a shed ton of views. And you know what? The interactions that I had with everybody in the comments and stuff was really cool. And it was fun listening to some new stuff, but again, investing that amount of time into something I'm potentially not even going to be into. And I'm not saying it's a given that I'm not going to be into it, but there's other videos that I think I would prefer to make over reaction videos. I don't really make any money off of this channel, but the reaction videos are kind of like obviously a straight away demonetization. So if I'm going to get a demonetized video, I want it to be because it's a song that I really like or whatever. And yeah, believe it or not, I really don't enjoy talking on camera. I find it very hard. I have massive social anxiety. And I know this isn't really a social thing because I'm just sat here talking to a camera right now, but talking is not actually my strong suit, believe it or not. So I found that those reaction videos, I found myself kind of forcing it a little bit to be, you know, forcing kind of being wowed and stuff like that. And also, usually it takes me a couple of listens to get into a song. So I feel like just going in blind listening to a song, I'm not able to give like a fair analysis or opinion on it. I like to live with it for a little bit. So which is why I'd rather do like a review later on after listening to a song or whatever. But even with the Bullet stuff, you know, when those songs were dropping, of course I was doing that to get views and stuff, but it was Bullet. I was kind of hyped about it. But still, you know, when those songs were coming out, even though that's like one of my favorite bands, I still found the whole reaction thing to be a little bit forced, if I'm honest, and I hate doing that. I want to be nothing but me and honest with you guys. Okay, next one. What's your favorite Bring Me the Horizon riff? Oh mate, how long have we got? I'd have to say that intro to Alligator Blood, you know, where the guitar's tuned so low and it's really muddy, you know, and it's really hard to distinguish with what's going on. That, and you know, it kind of lets on the idea that something heavy is about to happen. I really love that. I love the Ludens breakdown coming forward from that. I think that is just the perfect breakdown. It's just so sort of tacky and intelligent, and the way it works and the way it moves. It's actually harder to play than I thought it would be. So sort of between those two riffs, but those are off the top of my head right now. There's plenty more, as I love Bring Me the Horizon. Another Bring Me question. What's your opinion on the Ammo album by Bring Me the Horizon? I think it's underrated. Yeah, I kind of agree. I think that album did a lot for the band in terms of getting them out there more. And I really enjoyed listening to it at the time. I thought there was some really fun stuff on there. But I love Bring Me the Horizon. Like, anything they do, I kind of really enjoy. So yeah, I kind of enjoyed that album as much as I enjoyed That's the Spirit, I guess. As a matter of fact, I probably enjoyed that album far more than That's the Spirit. But obviously, if I'm in the mood for something heavy, I'm not going to put that album on. But I think there's just some great songwriting on there. I think there's some interesting layering going on. However, the last song was a real downer. A lot like on That's the Spirit as well. The last two tracks on those two albums are like, in my opinion, like grim. I really don't like those songs. The only thing I will say about that album is I got a little bit sick of it, actually, because at social events, it kind of became like a middle ground. So, for instance, there'll be people at a certain gathering, right, who aren't into heavy metal, but they like the new Bring Me stuff because it's more accessible. And it's like, oh, well, you like Bring Me because you like heavy stuff, so we'll put the Ammo album. And it kind of brought people together, which was really cool. But because of that, because it was like this middle ground and there was something for everybody to enjoy, it was just like on all the time. So I did kind of get a bit sick to the back teeth of it. But yeah, it is a good album. Okay, next question. Your favorite non-metal artist? I got a few. Thomas Newman is an incredible film composer. I will literally watch any film that he has composed, purely based on his composition. I just think, you know, if you go watch the Tolkien film, for instance, which has a lot of nostalgia for me because I love Lord of the Rings, right? Grew up on all that. His soundtrack, you know, already being a Thomas Newman fan, the soundtrack he worked into that film really complements it. I just find that his scoring is very sort of emotionally tuned in, and he just knows how to create a mood. His use of like the Mixolydian and the Lydian modes is absolutely incredible. You'll watch a film and you'll hear him start to work that bit of Lydian in there, if you guys know your modes, right? And it's like, oh yeah, that's the Thomas Newman sound. Coming forward from that, I'm going to get absolutely slaughtered here, but I love the 1975. Don't ask, they just make me feel really good when I listen to them. Yeah, so do with that what you will, but yeah, I absolutely love the 1975. I love the 80s pop thing they've got going on, and I think people should listen to more music than just heavy metal or whatever genre they're into. I also love the Arctic Monkeys as well. I think they're an absolutely slamming band. And then coming forward from that, I would say probably one of my oldest favorite non-metal artists would be Damien Rice. And if you haven't heard him, he's an Irish singer with like acoustic guitar kind of thing. But it's really miserable and it's really grim and it's really dark and sad, and I'm just all about that. And then lastly, I guess another one would be Ludovico Einaudi, who's an Italian piano player. Absolutely love that stuff there, and that's probably a massive inspiration on my playing, even though it's piano. Just you know, when it comes to like the ambient stuff that I enjoy doing, I like the fact that his tracks are just literally him playing piano and there's nothing else on there. So I always thought to myself, how can I make guitar that interesting where there's no other instrumentation, it's just the guitar? So he kind of got me thinking about how I could sort of progress that for myself. Next question, Download or Bloodstock? I've never been to either, but that last Download festival that I was not at, and it seemed like everybody else in the world was, that was like the dream lineup. Like Bring Me, Metallica, Slipknot, all my bands were there. So purely based on that lineup, I'm going to go with Download. Next question, any plans for a Lost Cause EP or album in the near future? I just wanted to say I love all of the singles so far. Cool, thank you. So if you guys don't know, you probably do by this point, I have a band, we're called Lost Cause. We got 3 singles out so far. And I don't think there's a plan to do an EP or an album just yet, because we find releasing singles to be like far more effective. But we have discussed doing an EP at some point, but with the way it's going, I think it's going to be singles, I think, just from what we've got in the works right now. That works because, you know, if you put like an album out, that you might do like a music video for 2 of the songs on there. And then the other songs, if you're not planning on doing a music video for them, they could just die a death and not see the light of day. So we'd rather give each song that we put out the opportunity to be like its standalone thing, right? With the music video to support it. So yeah, I would definitely say it's going to be singles going forward, but we'd love to do it a lot more frequently than it's been. And thanks for listening to the songs as well. I'm glad you like them. Next question. Will we see the return of the Loud and Proud podcast? I just wanted to say I love that podcast you and Matt did. Okay, so if you guys don't know, if you're new here, I had a podcast a little while ago with Matt the Riffmaster, and if you don't know who that is, what the heck are you doing on here? You guys must know him because this channel has been nothing but a rip-off of his channel from the start, right? And Matt and I became friends over the last few years, which was really cool. And yeah, we had a podcast together. So with that podcast, what I would say is that I think the workload just got really intense. Like we were knocking them out every week, and then we moved them to every 2 weeks. But the thing is, I think it's a lot of it was down to schedules as well. Like we were knocking those things out at like 9 p.m. each night. Like he'd finish work and then I'd finish work at like 8, and he's waiting around on me to finish. And then like we're trying to sort of like get ourselves in the mood and we just want to go to bed, right? Don't get me wrong, we had a really good time doing them. But, between the filming and like sending files back and forth, like 2-hour maybe video clips and stuff like that, because we don't live anywhere near each other. We have to do it all via computer and email. So I think it's all about schedules and workloads. I'm going to be honest with you guys. We've both said we would absolutely love to do it again, or maybe do some one-offs. But yeah, I think it's just a matter of schedules and time at this current moment in time. But I'm glad you really enjoyed them. I had a lot of fun doing them. I know Matt did as well. They were really fun to do. I remember the laughs. And yeah, I've got very, very fond memories of doing that. So we could do it again. I speak for myself here, not for Matt, obviously. Matt, if you're watching this and you want to do it, hit me up. But yeah, shared tons of fun on the podcast, and they're all on Spotify for you guys to listen to. Next question, do you listen to vinyls? No, I don't. That's a very expensive hobby that I'm not about to get into because I've already got enough as it is. Next question, my non-related musical question is, do you support a football team? I'm a Leeds fan myself. No, I don't. I absolutely loathe football, I'm sorry to say, and sports in general. Partly because when I was growing up, I was kind of like the outsider. I didn't fit in, and I tried going to like the football clubs and stuff like that. And I just didn't understand why everybody else was just so into it, and I wasn't. And when you're a kid, you kind of pretend to be into it. But it seemed like every other kid just had their thing, and 9 times out of 10, it was like football. So when I found guitar and that became my thing, it was like, this is me. I don't have to force myself to pretend to like something else. And yeah, what kind of came with it is just, I don't know, a bit of a lifelong loathing for sport, I guess you could say. So yeah, unfortunately, I'm terribly sorry. I really don't like football or support a team for that matter. Music's my thing for sure. Okay, moving on, and we're kind of getting to the end now a little bit. There's only a few more to go. Hey, Nihilist92. I really enjoy your content, especially your Bullet My Valentine guitar lessons. Thank you. They've really helped me learn many songs of theirs and expand my song catalogue. My question is kind of a 2-part question. Are you a fan of PV amplifiers? If yes, is the 6505 worth buying? And if not, what are some great alternatives to the 6505? Well, I've never owned a 6505. If you want the metalcore sound, I guess, or the machine head sound, that is a 6505 with a tube screamer. That's that classic sound. But it all depends on what you want to do. If you're like a bedroom guitar player, then buying like a 100 watt head, and you need to kind of keep the level low, it's probably not the most practical thing. So I'd maybe investigate what you're looking to do. If you're looking to play shows, then 100%, if you need that volume, then maybe that's, it might be worth investigating. I know the Kemper just works for me because it's quick and easy and it's a lot lighter than huffing a big head around. And also a lot of tube amps, from what I've seen, you kind of have to push them and find the sweet spot to get them to sound good. So, you might have that amplifier, but you might find that the sweet spot in volume that it sounds good at is just not negotiable in your environment, whether it's because of neighbors or whatever it is. You know, you just can't have it that loud. Also, as well, I would just say, just because all the bands use 6505s, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get that guitar tone. I've done videos on this before. It doesn't mean that when you plug that thing in, it's going to sound just like Screaming Fire or whatever it is, you know. So really sort of like delve into what you're looking to achieve, you know, because when you listen to those albums, just remember the guitars are double tracked, EQ'd, compressed, limited. There's a shed ton that goes into it. So, you know, I would just say go and play one. You know, if you're willing to shell that kind of money out for one as well, just go and play one, see what you think. If it sounds right and if it's a good fit for you and it's practical for what you're looking to achieve, go for it. If not, you know, maybe investigate something else. Some great alternatives. I love the sound of the Randall Satan head. I think they're absolutely incredible, and you can get some absolutely great plugins for that as well. So, you know, but that's just my thing personally. I really like the sound of that amp. So yeah, just have a think about what you want to achieve. You know, is it practical to have this great big tube head, you know, in your situation? You know, can you play it loud enough? And is it really going to give you the sound that you're looking for? Okay, next question. What age did you start playing the guitar? And what is the guitar of your dreams? Okay, so I started playing when I was 14, and I am now 30. So do the math on that. Next, what is the guitar of your dreams? I've done a video on this, so if you want to go and check that video out, I kind of discussed the top 5 guitars of my dreams. But off the top of my head, it would probably be the ESP MX220 from James Hetfield's sort of Justice for All era. You know, you can see him playing that on the 1989 footage, Seattle. That's probably one of my dream guitars right there. But if you want to see me go into depth on all that stuff, go check out my video, because I've got a full sort of, you know, 40-minute video on me waffling about those guitars. So yeah, but off the top of my head, that would probably be one of my dream ones. Okay, next one. Would love to see a cover of Burn the Foundation by Villain of the Story. Also, is it possible to do a reaction video? And by the way, how are you doing? I'm doing as well as I can be doing right now. Thank you so much for asking. That's very nice of you to ask. In terms of reaction videos, they're kind of off the cards for now for me, and that band I've never heard of, so I'll have to put some time into listening to that song to see if I'd actually want to do it. So I guess that's my answer. Okay, next one. Congratulations for 2,000 subscribers. Thank you. What is your top 5 Bullet of My Valentine songs? I had some time before this video to sort of write them down. These are the ones that came to me then, but they're ever changing. Number 1 would be Don't Need You. It speaks for itself, but it's just a tank of a song. Next one will be Ashes of the Innocent, bonus track from Screaming Fire. Any song that uses 4th fret, I'm just in. Yeah, that's a good song right there. Next one, Parasite off the new album. It's just thrash, man. It sounds like Machine Head. Absolutely love it. Pleasure and Pain from Fever, which is my favorite Bullet record. And then the last one would probably be A Place Where You Belong off the same record as well, because I think that's just a really nice, innovative song. Next one, how to do squealies on guitar, please, as best as you know. If you're referring to pinch harmonics, I've got a lesson video, so I'll put that on screen now for you. You can go and check that one out. If you're talking about like dive bombs and stuff like that, I'm not really good at that stuff, even though I got a guitar with a Floyd on it now, but not that great at it. But I'm sure if you go on YouTube and type in how to do, you know, Floyd Rose dive bombs, there'll be like a plethora of videos on how to do it effectively. But if you're on about the pinch harmonics thing, I've got a video on that, so go check that out and hopefully that helps you. Okay, so should I buy a Kemper, or are amp plugins the better route to go nowadays? Again, it's the same thing with the 6505 question. What are you looking to achieve? If you're looking to play like live shows and stuff like that, the Kemper is an absolutely fantastic tool, especially if you've got the power head, because you won't have to worry about putting like an external power amp in there. It's all just in one nice sort of like package. But if you're looking to just like stay at home and do a bit of recording at home and stuff like that, then, you know, plugins are a great way to go. For instance, all the Lost Cause stuff, it was all done with the STL desktop stuff, which was absolutely incredible. I've got the STL tones on the Kemper as well, and I use them live and to record with, but I've got the best of both worlds there. But like I said, a lot of people record with plugins. I was also using Bias Effects for like a fair few years when I first started the channel, which is absolutely incredible software if you're looking for something a little bit more affordable. So just ask yourself, you know, is the Kemper going to enrich my life? You know what I mean? Is it necessary? If you're looking to play live shows, super convenient. You can just plug it straight into the PA, and it sounds great. And you can record with it, you know, and I take mine to band practices, rehearsals, and all that sort of stuff. So if you're looking to just record at home, I 100% recommend the STL stuff. It's absolutely incredible. Like I said, all the Lost Cause songs is STL desktop stuff. And that'll get you all like the heavy metal guitar tones that you'll ever want, clean tones, reverbs, and all that sort of stuff. And then if you go down the route of getting some of like the artist profile packs, like Colin Richardson, for instance, that's got like hundreds of great profiles in there, and you'll probably find something you really like amongst that pack. So yeah, again, just ask yourself what you're looking to achieve. You know, the Kemper's a massive investment, but if it's going to facilitate you doing like live shows and stuff and you want the convenience, something that's a bit lighter than the natural amp head and pedals and stuff like that, then there's your answer. Next question, who are some guitarists that not many know people that you admire? Oh, Devin Townsend, as a whole. Like, he's one of my favorite artists. I love Devin as much as I love For My Valentine and Metallica and all that stuff. He's been a massive influence on me just in terms of like the ambient side of what I do. So like clean guitar tones, reverbs and stuff like that. And it's funny because I was kind of mortified when I found him as you know, being a bedroom guitar player for a long time. I thought I'd tapped into like my sound, you know, with like clean tone, reverb and stuff like that, and open tunings as well, which I really enjoy using. And then I stumbled across him one night, and I was like, "Oh, great, thanks, man!" It's like there's a guy who's just like literally made a whole career on it already. So yeah, Devin Townsend is probably one of my favorite, not just guitar players but artists as a whole. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question. Next question: what is your process for writing songs with your band? Generally, two of us at the moment, I would say, stick demos together. That'd be myself and Sam, the singer, because he plays guitar as well. So usually a lot of the times, like either him or I will put like a demo together at home, and then we'll put it in the group chat that we've got, the band chat, and then we'll go down to rehearsals and we'll see what everybody thinks of it. Is this something we all want to get on board with? And then what we'll do is we'll strip the song down and play it section by section and almost sort of, not necessarily like rewrite it, but just like work on the individual parts. And that's pretty much the way we've gone about doing it so far anyway with the songs that you've heard. We all just sort of get in a room. We've got a shell of a song, you know, do we like it? Yes, we do. Let's pursue it. Okay, let's go through it section by section, break it down. Work out the drum parts, work out the bass parts, decide what everybody's doing. And then, for instance, if we've got like an intro and a verse and a chorus that we've worked through, we'll play them up to that point. And then what we'll do is like, we'll say, are we happy with this? Yes. Okay. Then we'll add the next section. Then we'll play through to that point. Then we'll add the next section again. And we've got the full song. Then one of us will go away and demo it, whether it be Sam or myself, and just do our thing with it, and then we'll submit it again, make sure everybody's happy with it, and then again, next band practice, refine it, and then once we're eventually happy with it, we'll book studio time and put it together. So again, everybody's kind of like multi-instrumentalist in the band as well. Like Sam plays drums as well, so he's able to work with our drummer Steve with like drum parts and stuff. Steve writes all his own drum parts. He's absolutely incredible drummer. He gets massively involved in the creative process, which is a lot of fun. So yeah, we all just kind of like help each other out really, and we pick things apart, we have the conversation, and yeah, it just seems to work for us rather than it's just one guy writing everything and saying, right, everyone, that's what you're playing, you know? So it's a very collaborative, enjoyable process. Okay, last question, here we go. Are you more of a cat person or a dog person? I am neither. I do not like animals, and I do not wish to own any animals either. I find I'm allergic to cats. To you know, from the get-go, you know, they make me scratch and itch and stuff and sneeze, and then I just find pets to be kind of a bit of a burden for my lifestyle personally. I very much like the idea of being able to get up and go where I want and do what I want, you know, And the idea of having pets kind of ties you down a little bit, and you've got to think, okay, well, we've got to get boarding for the dog or the cat or whatever it is. And, you know, I don't like being tied down a whole lot. I like my independence. So yeah, I'm not really a big animal lover. From the perspective of owning one. So hopefully that answers your question right there. Okay, guys, that is it. That is all the questions that you guys have submitted. Thank you so much for being part of this. I've had a lot of fun doing this. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you want to see me do something similar down the line, just leave a comment, let me know what you think. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, please be sure to hit the like button. If you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, leave a comment, all that stuff. If you want to check out anything I've mentioned today, whether it's my band or the old podcast and stuff like that, everything is down in the link in the description for you guys. And yeah, once again, thank you so much for subscribing, for helping me get to 2,000 subscribers. Thank you so much for watching my content, engaging with it, and you know, encouraging me and motivating me to do more. So yeah, this has been a shed ton of fun, and thank you so much if you've made it this far into the video. And until next time, I will see you guys in the next one. Take care, guys. Peace.